Hey, good afternoon. It's Saturday, February 18th or 19th. The 19th of February, two, 2020. Um, I told God as I was going up the hill to my turnoff point where the fire station is that President Trump and I had it, that I was going to go ahead and cut my hair and my beard. I no sooner said that than I noticed a King County police officer that was in front of me who dove into the uh, fire station. And the Lord told me to stand down no matter what happened, to stay with Him and stay with the orders. And so I got down to the bottom of the hill and I turned on to Highway 169. And right away the lights came on and I was pulled over by a concrete barrier. before, just before that, I had been pulled over and given tickets for the expired tabs, and I cooperated because I was in bad shape and I couldn't possibly take anything without really endangering my core health. I asked them if there were any crimes in the area or any reason to pull me over, and he said yes. Your tabs are expired. And I said, that's not worthy of pulling me over. That's a financial crime. That's a civil crime. Is there a way that I could talk to your supervisor or something of that nature? And then I asked sternly, I was trying to get my phone out and to record it, but I had kind of seen what was going to happen to me, and I was so shook I couldn't get it put together. I was driving a little 2003 uh, Echo, Toyota Echo, and the window would only roll about 2/3 of the way, not quite 2/3 of the way down. An officer came up almost immediately, and I asked to see his supervisor. I asked him if he was a supervisor, and he started asking me questions, and I, at some point early on, uh, I had my camera on. Uh, he grabbed my phone and he threw it back in the back of the car. And then he commenced pulling me through the window with my left arm. And I couldn't undo my belt. So I sat back and I pulled my left arm over and, or my right arm. It was going very fast. But anyway, I undid the seat belt, and it freaked them out uh, that I was that strong. They could have no idea how the kind of stress and stuff that my shoulders and core have taken over the years, and how, in desperation strong I can be. As soon as I undid my belt buckle, or my seat belt, excuse me, I relaxed 100%. And instead of pinning me against the door, which I'd done had happened to me before, he did a kind of he had my beard and one hand, and he had my wrist, my left wrist, in a kind of a hold. So I was going with it, and he took me into the corner of the back of my car, and it was going to hit me in the breadbasket there, and so I dropped my knees, and it caught me up above my heart, and unbeknownst to me, it cracked 2 ribs, and then I looked up, and there was a an aid person, a fire person, and I said, he effing hurt me. He really effing hurt me. And about the time I finished saying that, I was being thrown in a way that I was going to go face down into the pavement in the gravel or something. And I dropped to my knees to break the fall on the force. I put my hand up, to protect my face. And on the opposite side that I protected my face, or on, I don't know. Anyway, my face took a good bang into the stuff anyway. And these were really WWF moves. By that I mean, it seemed to me like this person had done this before and was pretty doggone good at it. So he got me on my belly, saying all this time about resisting. I don't know what he is saying anymore. Then he got me up, and I was sitting with my feet in front of me, and they were saying things, this, that, and the other. And then he reached and grabbed the handcuffs with my arms, which had been pulled back pretty much kind of straight, one and then the other, and cuffed. Or I have a hard time viewing that memory. The way I handle pain is to focus on things, and to really focus on my body, my heartbeat, and my breathing when I'm having to deal with something like this and talking about it. So he grabbed my cuffs and was lifting me up with my feet in front of me, and I said, "What the F are you doing?" And finally I somehow got up, and both of my shoulders had been ripped apart when he pulled my arms back the way he pulled my arms back. And I was in a great deal of pain. I figured that if I had to defend myself in any way, that I had about 35% with the cuffs behind me at best. I might get a good kick in, a real good kick, or a headbutt. But, there's, at that point, resistance was futile, even if I wanted to. And I didn't. I was in a place that is hard to describe. But I was doing my best to stay present. And they put me back on this barrier thing. I don't know how long we talked there. Oh no, before then, an officer pulled up that I used to know. And I said, "And I know that guy." And I may have been effing by that time. And he said, "Hey, shut up. If I was here, you'd still be being grinded into the pavement or something." Much like that. And, I didn't look like this that day, my hair and stuff is much more combed. I'd carried the flag out on the bridge. I'd gone home and done a few chores and was on my way over to my landlord's house to do some stuff. And so they had me on that thing. They were one guy on each side. I think it was a supervisor, and another guy was afraid I was going to pass out, and so they was lifting my shoulders up. And by then, my breathing kind of started constricting, where it was. I could control the pain by the shallowness of breath I took and the number of breaths I took. I could keep myself going and everything. So I was kind of metering things out. I've had to dig in before. And so we were on the set in there for the longest time. And then they put me in this car that's a torture car. It's an aluminum box or steel box. And it is with arms behind my back under the best of conditions. It would have been horrible. Under these conditions, I was just trying to hang on and not go grumpy and to undo what I'd done. And I was talking straight whiskey about what I believed was going on and the whole deal. And I explained to him what I believe to be the truth, that I'm an anomaly. I'm a naturally occurring act of nature that cannot be explained. And I am humbled and grateful to have had this happen. I love Renton. Renton is my quote-unquote home. And I don't want our officers and even our firemen to allow anybody's dignity, anybody's. I wasn't afraid for my life for only one reason, and that's because God's with me, and whatever happens, happens, Captain. When I have that clear of a message from God, what I am to do, I live for these moments. And it could only happen because God wanted it to happen, or I'd be tore up from the floor up on this thing. I didn't get better by doing nothing, ever wrong. I got better by messing up, and messing up good sometimes, or bad, however one would want to put it, to where I only had one place to turn, and that was God. And I've been knocked down as low as I've ever seen anybody knocked down. And I look around real good. And then I get back up. I was so selfish when my son was killed that I almost stopped breathing and died. He came to me and he said, "Dad, what are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You know what I mean. I'm with Grandma. I'm with Grandpa. I'm okay." And he said, I said something, and he said, "My sister needs a father, and my brother needs a dad, or vice versa." And he said, "You got to knock this off." And I closed my eyes, and I just couldn't believe it. When I opened my eyes, he was gone, and my big old dog was jumping into bed, put his head down, and pushed me out of bed. I didn't catch on right away. It happened when I was talking to a friend who was carrying her baby, Olivia. And my mom's name was Olive. Anyway, we would talk. We didn't talk about how bad it hurt or how guilty I felt. None of those things. We spoke of the life and we spoke of our hopes because we were talking about something beautiful. And that young lady is beautiful. And her mama and her daddy and her brother. Sorry for the shaking. So we were there an hour and 40 minutes or so on the side of the road, and they took me to SCORE to put me to jail. I was letting the guy have it about the pandemic being a fake thing and that it was a derived uh, sickness that was contrived by people and that it was released. And they claim it's an accident, but we were having the Armed Forces Olympics over there at that time, and who God knows, but I do believe that whoever was running that outfit and runs that outfit was intending on a world war. So they went to put me in jail, and they noticed my eye, and the lady said that they asked a question, do you have any blurred vision or do you feel, da da da? Well, yeah, I had blurred vision. I had blood in my eye, you know. Anyway, and while they were talking it over, I told the booking crew that I was not going to cooperate with that booking, that I was going to take it, to the limit. And at that time, the SCORE refused to take me in, so they took me to the hospital. Had to stay another forever. I mean, I don't even know how many hours at this point. Take me into the hospital. I'm peeved. I couldn't think of all of my injuries because I was hurt and I was hurting by then. And they asked me, where I was hurt. I said my left shoulder and my right shoulder and my ribs, and I didn't talk about my knees. I didn't talk about my thumb. I didn't talk about anything like that. I was just, those were the things that was ringing the bell harder than anything else. And during the time, the officer has been talking to me. The guy that beat me up was out in the hall talking to him, trying to, talk his way out of it. And from what I could tell, the other guy was having really nothing about it. He wasn't liking it at all. And he offered me, cutting me loose. He said, they may rope you in later, but blah, 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 blah. And no help, no drive any place. I walked out of the hospital. I caught a bus up to a friend's house, thank God, who lived close enough to it. And getting there was, anyway, I got there and he looked at me and he said, "Oh my God, what, what happened to you?" I told him best I could, and I gave him my camera and had him take pictures of me. Oh no, no, no! I had him take pictures of me and send them to my camera because that my camera, uh, my pocket knife, uh, and my phone, which is my camera, and some other stuff that was very important to me was in the car. And he said, "Oh yeah, you should be able to get it out. Blah 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 blah. If we get down there quick, blah la 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 la." So my buddy drove me down there quick, and no, no, hell no. And oh, so thank God I was not in that in score that night and the next day. I had a lot of things going on in here with juices and stuff and swelling and around my heart. And I prayed about it, and I wasn't going to die, but man, I said, I don't know how to make if I hadn't been able to get some medicine and to have moments and be able to rest on something soft and have somebody that cared about me. And I think of all the people that have been thrown in jail and had the beat out of them for trying to reestablish that they are not revenue officers. They are not empowered with some godly thing that they don't have to obey the Constitution or the laws that they are sworn to enforce, as well as enforce those laws. And somehow, through the questions they ask and the unions that they have around them, they got pretty bulletproof. Went up there the day after my birthday to have this guy to file charges. And this he wasn't fat, but I want to call him fat because he's big and really thick and great big. Sergeant comes and he goes, "What's going on?" I said, "I want this guy arrested." He goes, "I want to file charges against this officer." He goes, "That's not the way it works." And I said, "Are you aware of the circumstances?" And he says, "Yep. And as far as I'm concerned, it was by the book. It's blah, blah, blah." If that's by the book, then we need to rewrite that book. And that's what I've been hoping and working for all these years, working to earn my what is important to me, what my worth is, and what I'm about and what I'm willing to do. I'm not a killer. I'm not a killer anymore. I am a patriot. I am as faithful as I can be Christian. I'm not a religiologist. I'm not a Catholic. I am just a servant of our people, but most of all, Jesus Christ, who tells me and showed me how to be the Good Samaritan and what he expected by the book of Matthew, and when he's talking about when I was in jail and this, that, and the other. I've done my best to be that, to be in that jail, to see eyes on with my butt in there, with feeling the real threat of people that are in there for a doggone good reason, and seeing the people that should have never. I'm hoping that we work our country back around, that we work every one of our things to be benevolent instead of being a Babylon, Babylonian money magic, and the Roman punishment system. I would like to see us work for sustainability, to work for a thriving community. And we're about to be introduced to circumstances that are beyond our capability of imagining. So it's a good time to have faith. And to me, faith is what God has earned from me by being faithful to me. Faith in myself, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that, being able to have faith in myself, except God tells me to, that without me having faith in myself, then I cannot function in the way that He wants to, and I want to do what will give our higher power my will and the courage to do whatever He shows me to do. My name is Fred Pepper. I carry a flag. I call myself the flag bearer. I was called that before I called myself. I could listen to a lot of names, but I feel that when I picked up the flag the way that I have picked up the flag, the very first time that I carried the flag to protest, quote unquote, was when the Federal Way Community Center was shut down by the city of Federal Way after a meeting that I attended, and I heard a man lie, and he had was directed to read a letter to them and went on his own, and a bunch of stuff like that. So, God bless you. Life will knock you down. I don't care who you are. You'll lose somebody you love, and suddenly you'll miss them in a way that you never knew you could. Or who knows what. I do believe that there's folks and there's entity, higher, lower power that wants to kill us and reap as much fear and resentment and hate as possible. And that's why I've chosen love. Have a great day. And don't ever give up. Your life matters. Our Father is God, and God loves you. And He sent His only begotten Son, who said over and over and over again about love. Peace out. Bye for now.